During this period, Hitler would receive sad news. At the end of 1907, his mother Klara had died of breast cancer. He was overcome with grief. However, a curious fact emerges from this event. The doctor who had supervised Klara's illness was Dr. Eduard Bloch, of Jewish origin. Bloch was married to Lily Kafka, with whom he had two daughters, Emily and Gertrude. Over time, he prospered in his career as a private physician. However, he not only treated wealthy patients, but also the poorest, whom he visited at home after traveling in his own horse-drawn carriage, trying to charge them according to their financial circumstances. This behavior earned him the pseudonym the Doctor of the Poor. 3 years before Klara's death, Bloch had cured Hitler of an ailment that was initially thought to be pulmonary, but later proved to be a simple cold that turned into tonsillitis. From that moment on, whenever the Hitler family needed medical attention, they did not hesitate to go to Bloch. When Hitler's mother suffered from breast cancer, she was first operated on by a colleague, but the operation failed to resolve the problem. She quickly called Bloch, who immediately came to her home and attempted to treat the wound with iodoform, an antiseptic that had become the only treatment with any hope. This drug was extremely painful and especially unpleasant due to its unpleasant odor. However, this decision proved unsuccessful as it caused poisoning that quickly proved fatal. Bloch did his best to alleviate the pain with morphine injections, but 9 months after the iodoform injection, Klara failed to survive and died. Adolf Hitler was deeply grateful to him. Bloch had been considerate enough to treat Klara, sometimes for a few coins and sometimes for free. Sometime later, Hitler sent him various paintings and postcards he had drawn. He remained deeply grateful. When Hitler finally took power, he took it upon himself to protect Bloch and his wife from many of the regime's anti-Semitic policies. He believed that if all Jews were like him, there would be no Jewish question. This finding is surprising, since by then Hitler was already preaching an anti-Semitic ideology. Many historians have wondered why he saved Bloch's life if he hadn't managed to cure his mother. This question remained a mystery to many specialists. Although he had Hitler's help, Bloch was unable to practice his profession due to the prohibition that Jewish doctors could not work. Finally, Bloch wrote to Hitler asking for help, and Hitler responded curiously, kindly. Thanks to the Führer's efforts, the doctor was able to sell his house at market price and go into exile in the United States. Returning to the timeline in early 1908, after his mother's death, Hitler decided to move permanently to Vienna. Thanks to a generous inheritance from his mother, he was able to live comfortably for a few months without working. Unlike Linz, the last city he had lived in, Vienna's population was predominantly German. While Hitler liked the Austrian capital, he disagreed with its multi-ethnic, multinational and multi-religious culture. By the end of 1909, he ran out of money. He was evicted from his apartment and fell into deep poverty. He had no choice but to live temporarily in a homeless shelter. During that time, he attended soup kitchens. Later, he moved to a men's residence. He earned a living with jobs such as shoveling snow, carrying suitcases at the train station, and working as a construction worker. In 1910, he began painting watercolors with postcards of Vienna, which his partner sold. During Hitler's first 2 years in the popular Austrian town, the mayor was Karl Lueger, a politician whom Hitler observed with close attention and loyal fascination. Lueger was born in Vienna in 1844. He began his career on the left wing of the Progressive Party and in 1875 was elected mayor. In 1885, he cooperated with von Schönerer in anti-Semitic campaigns for the Linz program. And 2 years later, he gave a violently anti-Semitic speech in support of Schönerer's bill against Jewish immigration from Russia and Romania. For these actions, Lueger was extremely popular among the lower middle classes. This was largely due to his rustic and vulgar speeches, which also included economic and religious anti-Semitic prejudices common at the time. He cunningly channeled social discontent by presenting both capitalism and Marxism as products of the Jewish mentality, recalling the supposedly well-founded historical hatred toward Jews. In 1897, Franz Joseph Thunstedt confirmed Lueger as mayor of Vienna after having previously refused. In that role, he was able to implement various discriminatory practices against Jews, such as not hiring them in municipal services and limiting their vacancies in both high school and university. He also supported politicians who actively perpetuated the myth of the blood libel, which claimed that Jews ritually sacrificed Christian children during Passover to obtain blood for the unleavened bread they customarily ate. This myth arose in the 7th century, a time when anti-Semitism was rife on the streets of Europe. Thus, the murder of an English child, known as William of Norwich, was attributed to local Jews.